Hoya Shreinu Madavakeinu Mechuvedatane Lokoyo Shreinu Madavakeinu Rabbi Shimon Tzadikaya Shreinu Madavakeinu Mechuvedatane Lokoyo Shreinu Madavakeinu Rabbi Shimon Tzadikaya Lag Ba'aymer Rabbi Shimon Yochai Avram Avinu Avram Yitzhak Yaakov Yosef Moshe, Aaron, David Amalek, very, very big people. And they also died. They also left their bodies. Why aren't we having crazy bonfire parties for Moshe Rabbeinu? Why are we freaking out for Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Moshe Rabbeinu, 7th of Adar, we don't do anything. Maybe light a little candle. Avram, do we even know when he died? Don't know, maybe. Someone probably does. I don't. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai leaves this world, suddenly everyone's like, come on. So we've got to understand what's going on. And by the way, we don't celebrate birthdays. Well, you can if you want, sorry. But what did you do on your birthday? You did nothing. You basically achieved nothing at that point. Your parents should celebrate your birthday. You did nothing. When you leave this world, then we can celebrate. You did something. There's something to celebrate there. There's something to mark that occasion. You reached your potential. You achieved. You did good things in the world. Only one birthday mentioned in the Torah. Whose birthday is mentioned in the Torah? There's only one birthday mentioned in the Torah. Pharaoh. Paro. There's also only one person who goes back to sleep in the Torah. Pharaoh. Going back to sleep, pressing the snooze button, Pharaoh. You press that snooze button. Why do they make the snooze button so big? The whole of this world is controlled by Pharaoh. The snooze button's huge. It's they're getting to your minds. Birthdays. Going back to sleep. We're into life. What did you do with your life? Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai starts the beginning of the Torah. Bereshis bara Elokim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning of Hashem's creating the heaven and the earth. There's a holy, holy Kabbalistic book called the Tikkunei Zohar. And the Tikkunei Zohar has 70 different perushim, commentaries, ideas just on the word Bereshit. Bereshit. One of them, Bereshit, is the same letters as Et Rashbi. Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Bereshis bara Elokim et Rashbi. In the beginning, Hashem created Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. What is this power of Rashbi that the whole universe has to be founded on Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai? So one of the most powerful parts in the Zohar, the foundational book of Kabbalah, written by Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It says, if you knew how much Hashem loves you, that Hashem's obsessed with you individually, you would roar like a lion, you'd pick up your clothes, and you just run after Hashem. You just run. If you knew how much Hashem loved you, you'd roar like a lion, and you'd go. So we're always working on Ahavat Hashem. We want to love Hashem. It's hard to love Hashem. Hashem's beyond time and space. I love my daughter. She's there. But how do you love Hashem? One of the main ways to love someone else is know how much they love you. When you know how much someone loves you, then you love them back. I gave the example last month. There's a guy in the yeshiva, you just don't like him. He annoys you. He's not evil. He's annoying. You just can't stand him. And then one day, you go to a wedding, and you're sitting next to someone at the wedding, and he says, oh, you go to Eisha Torah. And yeah. And he goes, do you know Chaim? And you're like, yeah, I know Chaim. He's this guy you can't stand. And he goes, oh, you must be Dov Ber. I'm like, I am. And he goes, Chaim loves you. Chaim doesn't stop talking about you. He said, remember the time you did this, and he couldn't believe it, and he says, you're the nicest guy, the cleverest guy, the funniest guy. Chaim loves you so much. He loves you. Chaim doesn't stop talking about you. How do you feel about Chaim now? You're like, yeah, he's not so bad. He's not so annoying anymore. If you knew how much Hashem loved you, and the whole basis of creation is an act of love. Hashem created the universe not because Hashem needs anything. Hashem's perfect, infinite light. He doesn't need a universe. So he didn't create the universe because he needed something. He created it as an act of giving, an act of love. That's the foundation of the universe. Rebbe Shimon is coming to teach us. Hashem loves us immensely, and the whole purpose of creation is love. And if we knew that, we'd be burning like a fire. A fire. Bereshit, also the same letters as Brit Esh, a covenant of fire. Because fire is yearning, always yearning. God bless you, child. Always yearning. Fire is yearning upwards. I just want to reconnect. I just want to go. Fire is very much about connection. If the fire isn't connected to its fuel, if there is no wood or oil or cotton or whatever it is, then there is no fire. Fire, in fact, you know what fire is? The foundational element of fire is the force of destruction. For fire to exist, it has to destroy something. Isn't that amazing? For fire to exist, it has to destroy the wood or the oil, or that is what fire is. So there's negative destruction, destroying good, being arrogant, egotistical, destroying other people, and there's positive destruction, destroying your Yetzirah, destroying your badness, destroying your lower levels. The only way you're ever going to raise up to being a higher you is to destroy who you used to be, or at least integrate the good parts of who you used to be, destroy the rest. Very, very much about connection. Rabbi Shimon also says, you know the biggest problem? We are B'nai Melachim. We are the sons of kings. We are the sons of the kings, and you know the biggest problem? That people don't realize that. The biggest problem in the Jewish people is you don't realize who you are. If you knew who you were, if you knew you were the king's son, you wouldn't behave like that. You wouldn't behave like that, like some street urchin. You'd behave like a prince. We're all princes. Rabbi Shimon is saying, not only does Hashem love you, but you're a prince, so act like it. Be that. That's the essence of who you are. That's what we need to be. Rabbi Shimon coming to tell us that we have to stay connected to our source. Oh, Benny, Shalom Aleichem. You're a fiery neshama, Benny. Yep. Okay, I think you are. So this is what we're trying to do. So what did Rebbe Shimon bring to the world? He didn't bring it to the world, by the way. He brought it out. He brought out the Panemius HaTorah, the inner workings of the Torah, the mystical wisdom. Now, some people have said to me recently, Kabbalah's just New Age, Madonna, you're just making it up. But Kabbalah's the original Torah. How do we know that? What was Abraham learning? Did he have a Torah? Shem and Ava in their academy. They had an academy. What were they learning? They didn't have the written Torah. It only came much later, Har Sinai. They were learning the mystical wisdom. The mystical wisdom. What is a neshama? How was the world created? What do mitzvahs really do? It says Abraham, Yitzhak and Yaakov, they were keeping every single mitzvah in the Torah before the Torah was given. Why? Because they tapped into the spiritual lights of what a mitzvah really is. What a mitzvah is a divine light. It's a ray of divine light. That's why the word for lights in Hebrew, orot, is gematria, 1 plus 6 plus 200 plus 6 plus 400, correct, 613, because there's 613 mitzvahs, but there's 613 points of connection. That's what the mitzvahs are doing. But if you don't understand the depth of a mitzvah, what is it? Lots of people learn halakha. What, when, how, where, who. Very few people learn why. What's the mitzvah for? So the why is the panemius, the inner working. So you have a mitzvah without the inner working. It's like a body without a soul. It's dead. It's a dead mitzvah. And us holy sages teach us, do you know what? In Pirkei Avot, hevi zahir b'mitzvah kala. You should be zahir with light mitzvahs. Zahir means careful. You should be careful with small mitzvahs, just like you would be careful with big ones. So what's a small mitzvah? Maybe saying a bracha might be a small mitzvah. What's a big one? Putting on tefillin. So people think, wow, tefillin's a big mitzvah, but giving tzedakah not so, whatever. So we have in our minds some are big, So the Pirkei Avot says, no, you be careful with every single mitzvah. You don't start judging what's a big mitzvah, what's a small mitzvah. One smile at a human being can change their life. Heavy zahir. Now zahir means be careful, but it also means Zohar, shining. Be shining with your mitzvahs. Do your mitzvahs and shining. When you put on tefillin this morning, were you shining with your mitzvah? Zohar. That's why Rebbe Shimon's book is called the Zohar, because we're shining. It's a show. But it says shining with the small ones as well. Every bracha you make, every mezuzah you see, you should be like shining. We just learned last week my favorite Mishnah, Menachot 10:3, chapter 10, Mishnah number 3. It says, I have to say it again, it's my favorite Mishnah. They went out to cut the omer. They had to cut the barley. And all you have to do, the mitzvah is cut the barley. But the Mishnah says, and how would they cut the barley? Basically, someone will go out before Pesach and they'd prepare it. So you've got to get ready. You've got to get ready for your mitzvahs. You've got to get ready for Shabbos. From today, by the way. Today is the first day of Chol Hamoed Shabbos. It's the first day of getting ready for Shabbos. You've got to be thinking, Hayom Yom Rishon Shel Shabbos Kodesh. Our sages teach us every single time you remember Shabbos, it's a mitzvah. Zachor et Yom HaShabbos L'Kadshay. Remember the Sabbath day as a mitzvah. That's not just on Shabbos, that's every single day of the week. Good Shabbos, good Shabbos, good Shabbos. We're living for Shabbos. We're Shabbos Dika Yidden. We're here, we're going through the week and we're doing what we have to do to get to Shabbos. Now obviously every mincha is also Shabbos. Every mincha during the week, every bracha during the week, it's Shabbos. Everything we're doing is Shabbos. So we got to be getting ready all the time for Shabbos. So it says, and then it was coming to nightfall. They had Leil HaSeder, and then they went all through the night and Davenets, and then they maybe had a little shlof, had lunch. Towards nightfall, they all got everyone from all the villages all around. They would mekansim, they would come together. Be'esek gadol. They wanted the cutting of the barley to be with a huge fanfare, a parade. Let's go and cut the barley. Why? You just got to cut the barley. But they're like, no. It's a mitzvah. We're going to cut the barley. And they all go up there and they're all like dancing and the guy comes up. He's about to cut the barley and he says to them, Ba Shemesh, has the sun set? And they say, Hein, Hein, Hein. Yes, and he says again, Ba Shemesh, has the sun set? And they say, Hein, Hein, Hein. And again, Ba, 3 times, Ba Shemesh. Hey, hey, hey! And then he says, Magazo, is this a sickle, a curved knife to cut the barley? Is this a sickle? And they say, yes, yes, yes. Hey, 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 is this a sickle? Hey, 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 hey. And then he says, is this a basket? Kapazai, is this a basket? And they're like, hey, 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 and 3 times. And if it's on Shabbos, you're allowed to cut it on Shabbos. He says, Shabbos Zay? Is it Shabbos? And they're like, yes, it's Shabbos, yes. And then he says, Ektzor, should I cut it? And they say, yes. Ktzor, cut it. Should I cut it? Ktzor! Should I cut it? Ktzor! They're freaking out. All he had to do, by the way, he would have fulfilled the mitzvah by just bloop. That's you fulfill the mitzvah. You fulfilled tefillin, you just go, Baruch Atah Hashem, I'm going to bloop. You want to put on your tefillin. I'm not doing the whole tefillin putting on again. Every time you will, is that a mitzvah? Are you loving your mitzvahs? Are you on fire? The whole of Lag BaOmer is, are you on fire? You're on fire? You're a fiery Jew? Or you're not so fiery? Now, we were saying last night, Yud Chet Iyar. Today is Yud Chet Iyar, the 33rd day of the Omer. Yud Chet Iyar is Gematria Amalek. Amalek, the arch enemy of the Jewish people. And what is Amalek? Amalek has 2 main powers. Number 1 power of Amalek is coincidence, which comes to doubt. But coincidence says in the Holy Torah, Asher karcha b'derech. Amalek were karcha b'derech, which simple meaning is they just appeared on the path in the desert and they attacked you. But deeper meaning, Rashi brings is karcha comes from the word mikra. Mikra means a coincidence. It's a coincidence. He came up to you and said, it's just a coincidence. There's no Hashem. Don't think there's an infinite divine being controlling anything. It's just, things happen. That's why, by the way, Purim, when we beat Amalek, and it's all about the lots, which is just random, Purim always falls out on the same day of the week as Lag BaOmer. There's a big Amalektic power to Lag BaOmer. So the first one is not just after. The first one is it's just coincidence and therefore Safek. Amalek, Gematria, Safek, which means I'm not sure, I don't know, should I be doing this? Making the right decision? Am I going in the right direction? Where am I going? Just as very confusing. So he made everything confusing. We said last night, let's say I want to go from here to Svat, and I don't know the way. So I look, should I go left here? Should I go right there? Should I go forward? I don't know, up and down. And we're very, very confused because we don't know how to get where we need to go. But once you're in Svat, there's no confusion anymore, because whichever direction you go, once you're in Svat, you're in Svat already. Once you're there, there's no confusion anymore. So Rebbe Shimon taught us, and obviously we all know this, that Hashem's everywhere. What do you mean? Which direction do I go? Hashem's everywhere. You just go in any direction. Obviously you can choose to go against Hashem. You can go in the Amalek, Safek, opposite direction to Hashem. But if you want to go to Hashem, any direction you choose, as long as it's our path, the right way, Rebbe Shimon taught us the path, you can choose. I want to go to Hashem through mitzvahs primarily, through learning Torah primarily, through doing chesed primarily, through praying primarily. We all each have our own power. There are 12 tribes. Each of us has a power. All of those paths lead to Hashem. Obviously all of us need to do all of it, but you've got to find out what's your most fiery passion. You've got to know also what's your mitzvah. Some of our sages say that each person has their mitzvah. We've got to do all the mitzvahs, but there's this one mitzvah that is like theirs. Work out what's your mitzvah. By the way, it's often the one that you find most difficult, because the Yetzer Hara doesn't want you to do that one. So you've got to overcome whatever you think is difficult. You overcome that one with burning, flaming fire. That's Asher Karcha Bederech. It's all coincidence. There's no meaning. That's what he's saying. There's no meaning behind anything. Nothing's meaningful. Yes?
Would you say your mitzvah is Passover night?
Oh, I think my mitzvah is Shabbos and Tefillin and Leila Seder and shaking the lulav in the jug and sit. I don't know, all of them. Mitzvahs. How are you doing mitzvahs? The second one, by the way, is Asher Karcha Bederech. What does kar mean? Cold. He made you cold. Amalek makes you cold. I'm doing my mitzvahs. I'm putting on tefillin. Cold. No passion. There's no life. No life force. He's just dead. This guy's not alive anymore. He's kar. They say that if a snake is going to bite you, you should carry on praying. But if a scorpion is going to bite you, you don't pray. What's the difference? Because apparently a snake bite is hot. Scorpion bite, cold. Don't know the deeper Kabbalah behind that. But when it's hot, there's something to work with. When it's cold, you're gone, you're dead. I used to run these trips in India for Israeli backpackers. And they all went there to meditate and find Buddhism and stuff. So I went and ran like 10-day like birthright trips for Israelis in India to teach them about volunteering and the local language. And now you've got some Israelis who are very anti-religion. They're like, oh, you're all crazy, and you've got some who just don't care. The anti-people are much easier to talk to because they care. The people who don't care, they're like, I just don't care, I don't have anything to say, I don't care. Yeah, it's true, not true, I just don't care. The people who have some passion, at least we like that guy, because at least he cares. He hates it, which is good. It's good that he hates it. By the way, I'd hate it if I thought it was what he thinks it is. I did hate it. If I thought Judaism was what that secular Israeli thinks Judaism is, I'd hate it too. But once you find out what it is, then you've got something to work with, you've got passion. So Asher Karcha Bederech is, you're cold. You're cold, you're going through the motions. You're married, you're going to get married one day. After 15 years, are you just going to be living with her, but it's cold? Like, it's a functional relationship. Which is it, it's okay. We say hi to each other, who's going to pick the kids up from school? Or is there still fire? Is there passion? The whole of Lag BaOmer, why are we lighting fires? No, this isn't bonfire night. It's to represent the fire in you. Do you have a fire? Are you a fiery Yid? Something called a flaming Baal Tshuva. They come in here and then suddenly they realize there's a God! And they become a flaming Baal Tshuva. By the way, they can be very dangerous, flaming Baal Tshuva, because they burn other people. Start judging other people and their parents. And everyone, oh, this is true, and very bad. That's what happened with Rebbe Shimon and his son. Were in the cave for 12 years studying deep Torah wisdom. They came out of the cave and they saw people just doing normal life, farming, and they burnt everyone with their eyes. Because they just couldn't believe, how could you just have a normal life when there's such depth, infinite, divine consciousness, love, burning everything. Everything they saw, they burnt it. Hashem says, hey, I don't want you to burn my world. I don't want you to be a flaming Baal Tshuva, burn other people. Go back in the cave. Back in the cave for a year. Rav Elazar, his son, still came out burning everything. Rebbe Shimon healed everything. Because there's a place of Gevurah, hold on, to see through loving eyes. Rabbi Shimon starts loving people, so he had Gevurah to hold back. He still saw that there's bigger things, but he saw that the simple Yid, just doing his simple things with a simple heart. Rabbi Nachman says this, the Baal Shem Tov said it is the highest. The simple Yid is often the highest Jew. Because he's not too clever, he doesn't try and work it all out, he just says Tehillim in a pure way. He can't really read the Siddur, but he doesn't need to, because he just speaks to Hashem from his heart. So people are reading from the Siddur, and often when you're about Tshuva, you see, I don't know the words, but you don't know. They might just be sitting there and thinking about lunch, and you're there and you're about Tshuva, and you're saying, Hashem, I don't know the words, I just want to connect to you. The highest prayer. Hashem loves that. Hashem, I remember the moment in Tzfat, a third meal, and there were all these yeshiva boys singing, and I wasn't at all from yet, I just kind of arrived. But I just remember the moment just going outside on the balcony and saying, Hashem, I just want whatever it is, just give me that. I just want that. And I'd been in Asia for 6 years meditating on mountains and high spiritual experiences, but there was something so deep and emotional and loving and pure. So that's what our essence is. It says in Avadja, the Navi Avadja, it says, V'haya Beit Yaakov Eish u'Beit Yosef Lahava. Beit Yaakov, the Jewish people, we are Eish. That's what we are. Beit Yosef, the Tzaddik, Yosef is the Tzaddik. Yisod Ha'olam, Tzaddik Yisod Ha'olam. The whole world is held up by the Tzaddik. Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai, by the way. Very famous Zohar, where Hashem sends a malach, a fiery, burning, monstrous angel to the earth to destroy the earth. And Rebbe Shimon says to the angel, hey, what are you doing, man? And he says, Hashem sent me to destroy the earth. And Rebbe Shimon says, no. Hashem says, if there are some tzaddikim in the world, then you can't destroy the earth. Where do we learn this from? Stoim. Abraham says Hashem's going to destroy Stoim. Abraham says, you can't. So the angel goes back to Hashem and says, Rebbe Shimon says, I can't destroy the world. So Hashem says to the angel, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to the angel, what are you talking about? I'm God. You go back there. I told you to destroy the world. He comes back to destroy the world. Rabbi Shimon says, I'm sorry, but even if there are only 10 tzaddikim, by the way, even if there are only 2 tzaddikim, me and my son, even if there's only 1 tzaddik, me, I make a gezerah, I tell Hashem what to do. Angel goes back, explodes, and Hashem says, okay, I get it. Don't mess with Rebbe Shimon. Rebbe Shimon, because Hashem doesn't want to destroy the world. Hashem doesn't want to destroy the world. He wants people who are on fire. But if we're not on fire, then he doesn't need to destroy the world, because it's destroyed anyway. That's what Amalek is. Just put out the fire. Put out their passion. And how do we do that? Eisha Torah. Eisha Torah, the fire of Torah, the inner Torah, the Kabbalah, the Penimiyot Torah. Understand why we're doing what we're doing. Halo kol divari ka'esh, says Hashem, Yirmiyahu. Aren't all my words like fire? It says that Hashem spoke to us at Har Sinai out of the fire. Torah is fire. Torah is what warms us up. But if we're just learning Torah cold, it doesn't warm us up. You gave the example last week. If you get pure mineral water and you pour it into a dirty cup, then the water gets dirty. There's nothing wrong with the mineral water, it's just the cups. The vessel is dirty. If you pour Torah into a emotionally imbalanced human being, then they're going to use Torah to do bad things. So we've got to be cleansing ourselves. We've got to put ourselves in the fiery furnace of Eish and cleanse our character traits, cleanse ourselves to be able to even receive Torah and then give it to other people, not be flaming Baal Tshuvas. We want to be like Baal Tshuvas who are like burning coals, like red hot long burning, very hot, cold. Not this flamingness, but how do you do that? You've got to start with your flame. Yes?
I was going to ask, what's the best way to clean our vessel?
The best way to clean your vessel? This is the whole point of Sfirat HaAymer. We're counting the Aymer, and every single day there's two different ways, by the way. There's slowly go through all your character traits and correct your character traits, and why am I speaking Lashon Hara? Or deeply and fully connect to Hashem through Torah, mitzvahs, meditation and prayer. And once you're so fierily connected to Hashem, it just burns away all the schmutz, all the outside stuff. That's what we're going to do. Just very quickly before we go, we don't have time. Today is Hod Shebahod. We have in the Sfirat HaAymer, we have the 7 midot, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, Malchut, and today is Hod Shebahod. It's the ultimate day of Hod. And Hod has a few meanings. One of them is glory, just seeing Hashem's glory. But really, the root of the word Hod, Hodaya, means acknowledgement, recognition. It comes from Yehuda. When Yehuda was born, he's called Yehuda because of the word Hod, because Leah says, now I can really lahodot. Lahodot also means to thank, immense gratitude. To have immense. It also means, by the way, to surrender, to let go, and just be like, I'm not in control. Hashem's in control. I'm just going to start burning. I'm going to start burning. Hod Shebahod is the ultimate place of just surrendering to the divine glory in creation, recognizing Hashem's fire, and then getting on fire with Hashem's fire. Be'ezrat Hashem. So your avoda today is just when everything you do today, when you're making a bracha, are you on fire with your bracha? Are you warming up other people with your fire, or are you burning other people? You don't want to burn other people with your fire, look down on other people with your fire. You want to light other people up with your fire. Be'ezrat Hashem, b'schus Rebbe Shimon bar Yochai. By the way,